Hey, what is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? I have a really fun video today that I've been excited about for a while. I really want to showcase some of our direct-to-consumer brands, a lot of these unknown underground golf balls that we've tested over the last few years that have actually turned out to be pretty darn good. Let's dive right in. So if you watch this channel, you know that one of the best things about this channel in general is that we test every golf ball. I mean, every golf ball deserves a chance. And so there's a lot of Amazon golf balls now. There's a lot of direct-to-consumer, underground. There's just a lot of congestion in this market. And when you go through that congestion, sometimes you'll find a lot of average, a lot of trash in there, if you know what I mean. But sometimes you come out and you find something really special. And that's actually been the case over the last few years. We've been doing this for about 4.5 years now, and we have found a lot of golf balls that, as the title says, people have never heard of. And most of the time when I recommend these golf balls or I tell people about them, they just look at me like I'm a silly goose, because they have no idea that these golf balls even existed, nor the fact that they deserve a top 10 spot. So really excited to showcase some of these. Basically these, again, in no particular order, but I'm just going to go through and kind of talk about some of my favorite golf balls that most people have probably not heard of. Now, obviously, if you're a golf ball addict and you watch this channel, you've heard of most of these because you've seen me review them, which also, if you're new here, welcome. We're glad to have you. We do in-depth golf ball reviews of pretty much every golf ball that's existed. I think we're close to 150 now, 150 golf balls tested over the last 4 years. So if you see anything on this list you really like, go to the channel, search for it. We have a full in-depth review of it. Now, I will admit a couple of these I have not released reviews for yet, but they are coming in the next week. But I had them tested. They deserve to be on here. I wasn't going to take that away from them. So without further ado, let's start. Now, when I say golf balls that you have never heard of, essentially, there's going to be a couple brands that I'm going to go ahead and take out of that running, like Vice. Vice is awesome. I love Vice. But at this point, if you haven't heard of Vice, you're just living under a rock. They're in Walmart. They're in Target. They're everywhere. If you haven't heard of them, you know, same thing with Cut Golf. Snell, kind of the same way. If you haven't heard of Snell Golf at this point, it's really, this is going to be specifically brands that when I mention them to people, they turn their head and go, like that. Like, I want something. I want these to be ones you've never heard of if you haven't been on this channel before. So I want to open your mind a little bit. That's the whole point of Golf Ball Addict, is to get you thinking about new golf balls you didn't even know existed. All right, first up, we have the Deadspin DS Tour. Now, this one has not been reviewed yet. The review will be coming out within a week. And this one might even come as a surprise to my golf ball addicts, because I tested the DS Pro, which is their, more pro model, 85 compression, and I hated it. I hated everything about it. I liked the design. It was cool. We'll get to more of that in a second, but as far as the feel, it felt really heavy. It came off the club slow, nothing really to build on there. And with it being that 85 compression, that's usually the sweet spot for me. So when I realized that they had a DS Tour model that was a 75 compression, I thought, well, okay, that's at least deserving of a chance. I wanted to know if Deadspin, the brand, was just not a good brand, or if maybe just that ball in particular was just a little firmer for an 85 compression. And what I found out is that the Tour actually performed pretty decently. Now, it's not going to light up the scoreboard. Everything's above average, but it's not going to break any records. But it still did really well. It has an ample amount of spin. It gets the job done. But what really drew me to the Deadspin Tour was the design of it. As you can see, this is a black ball. It's a black mat. It's a urethane golf ball, $29.99 on Amazon. Really good price point. I mean, all the values there. And it's just really unique. It has that whole pirate theme to it. That's exactly what it looks and feels like. And for me, being in the Tampa area, the pirate theme runs pretty deep around here. So I saw it, fell in love with it. I love to pitch and putt with it just because of how cool it looks. It's definitely a conversation starter. Also, though, be warned, that black matte finish, when you hit it in the fairway, if you hit it long distances, it's hard to see your ball even in grass. It can be very, very difficult. It doesn't shine out like a white or a yellow or a green would, so be warned on that. But still a good golf ball, definitely deserves someone's attention for sure. Next up, we have the Penfold Hearts. This is a 3-piece iometer blend golf ball. Now, this one, value-wise, no. Performance-wise, average. I mean, it gets the job done. I still play with it. I still enjoy it. There's no issues with the golf ball. Really, what's great about this one is it's kind of got this old vintage feel, right? So Penfold's been around for a very long time. I know they're under new management. They have a new, company that's umbrellaing urethane them, if you want to call it. But what's still really cool about Penfold is they really dive into the whole James Bond thing, because if you don't know, there's a scene in a classic James Bond movie where he's playing a round of golf with the villain, and he says an iconic line of, this is my Penfold hearts, that means your ball, blah, 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 whatever. And so that's kind of that's what they've built their company on the last 40, 50 years, whatever. But they did win tournaments back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. It's more of an England ball. But they actually really still dive into this James Bond thing. They have towels. They have, their golf ball has the logo on it. They have tees. It's really cool. So again, it's not something that's going to light it up. But I think there's going to be a lot of Bond fans that want to go out, play with that, maybe on a pitch and putt, a short course, things like that, and just have it as a conversation piece. I still bring mine out every once in a while, and people notice it. They really do. It's a unique design. It's a unique look. And Penfold's also really been good to me with customer service, too. So another golf ball that could be worth someone's time. Another one I have not reviewed yet, but everyone has been asking me like crazy, is the Spalding SD Tour. I have finally tested it. I don't want to give too much away because I know this review's coming soon, within the next week. But here's what I will tell you. It gets the job done. This is a tour-like golf ball. It's firmer. It's really not my cup of tea per se, but if you're a faster swinger and you like Chrome Tour, you like Pro V1, you like a firmer golf ball that really allows you to explode it off the driver face and get, some ample amount of spin. Now, keep in mind, the Spalding SD Tour is not a high-spinning golf ball. That's probably going to be the X that also comes with it. But really, the big thing about the Spalding SD Tour is it is a $20 a dozen 3-piece urethane golf ball, and that goes for the X as well. That's what draws a lot of people to it. Now, you might be saying, I didn't even know Spalding still made golf balls. Well, I didn't either for the longest time. You only can get them really sporadically on Amazon or Rock Bottom Golf. That's the only two companies that I see really sell them consistently anymore, and a lot of the time they'll go out and you got to go to one. Like right now you can get the X model on Rock Bottom Golf, but you can't get it on Amazon, but you can get the regular on Amazon and not on Rock Bottom. So it's kind of weird that way, but for a $20 3-piece urethane golf ball, it's definitely worth your time, especially if you're someone who maybe doesn't play as often anymore. You're used to playing a Pro V1 or something like that, a tour ball, and you don't want to spend those prices anymore. $20 is pretty easy to get out. One of my favorites now is also called Brunch Golf. Now, this is a company I really like. Their golf ball tested pretty decent for the most part. A couple things were above average, but really the reason I didn't get great numbers out of it is because Brunch really takes pride in the fact that they're trying to mimic the Pro V1. Now, on the channel, I always tell my viewers, when it comes to direct-to-consumer companies, I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they wouldn't try to mimic the Pro V1, because what I found is that for average golfers, there's a lot of other golf balls that have much more forgiveness, much more consistency, a little bit more accuracy. So I'll admit, when Brunch Golf told me that they were trying to exactly mimic it as much as they possibly could, I kind of rolled my eyes. But here's the thing. It's a good golf ball, and what I like about it is it's fun, it's unique, it's youthful. They do a lot of advertising as far as, just being like a normal guy in a t-shirt, playing around in golf, eating pizza, chilling on a Friday night, watching football. That's kind of their thing. Their golf balls have really funny jokes on the side of them. Some say like "spank me," and some say like, it's really a youthful thing. But the golf ball performs really well, and the value is there. So you actually get 16 golf balls for $40, which again, for a 3-piece urethane golf ball, 96 compression, a little too firm for me. But for you fast swingers out there and people who like a firmer golf ball, it's definitely worth a shot. It's definitely worth going out there and seeing, because this is an up-and-coming company that I don't think's going anywhere, and I really like what they're putting out, so check them out. Once again, we have another one that's going to be coming out maybe in a week and a half. I don't know if I can get 3 reviews out in the next week, but very, very soon. This is the Lazarus L3R golf ball. Again, highly, highly, highly requested. Finally got around to testing it, and I could say it's pretty darn good. So here's the thing when it comes to the Lazarus. Again, really firm, not my cup of tea as far as the feel. It definitely has a click to it. It's louder. Definitely need to hit it in the center, because the forgiveness isn't great because of that firmness and that clickiness. But here's the good news. If you do hit it pure, it's really, really, really good. And what's also nice about it is, again, Amazon.com, $20 3-piece urethane. Comes in a variety of colors. You can get it in blue, red. They have those matte designs, but they also just have a regular white, which is what I got. And I got to say, I was really impressed. When I'm reviewing a golf ball that is $20 for a 3-piece urethane, I don't have a lot of expectations. I just don't. And when you go out there and you start seeing things that are above average, really great spin, 50-yard spin was phenomenal with it. It was just gripping the green really well. I mean, where can you go wrong with that? You know what I mean? So this is a brand new golf ball for 2024. They just came out with it. It's very recent, but if you're someone who likes a firmer feel, again, you know, and I'm actually going to do a video with the Spalding and the Lazarus compared side by side soon, because they are so close. They actually feel pretty close. They act pretty close. They're the same price. They're 3-piece urethanes. So that'll be really interesting too to kind of see, but that's what it reminds me of. So you might watch that video, maybe hold off for a week or two, see what that video does, and then maybe you can narrow it down from there. But again, just come on, $20 a dozen. Can't beat that value. Next up, we have the Diawings Max Distance Golf Ball. So a year or two ago when I got sent these by a Korean company, I didn't know what to expect. They were a 2-piece golf ball, got them in the mail, started hitting them. Holy cow, probably one of the best feeling golf balls ever. Now, it may be a 2-piece, but it just exploded off the face. When they said max distance, they weren't kidding. I mean, it broke records at the time. Every club was just consistently boom, boom, boom. The forgiveness was off the charts. It was a really easy golf ball to put down and hit. And I thought, oh my goodness, is this the best golf ball I've ever tested? And then I saw the price. And it still makes me upset to this day. I know it's a really great performing golf ball, but for a 2-piece iometer, very cheap, not very durable blend, it's $35 a dozen, and that's just, it's really hard. Most golf ball addicts that are on the channel at the time agreed. It's hard to spend that type of money for a 2-piece iometer golf ball. It just really is, especially knowing what you can get. In fact, you're getting ready to see some 3-pieces here in a second that are cheaper than that perform just as good. And so Diawings, I think, is one of those companies that I have them on the back burner. I always keep them in the back of my mind because I know, like, this golf ball can perform, but you got to decrease that price. I can't. I'm a value guy. This channel's about value, and when you're, I mean, they used to charge 40. That when I did the review, they were charging 40. So I don't know. It's a really great performing golf ball. The distance was just insane. The feel's insane. I still use them. I still have them. I still use them if I need a 2-piece, if I need to keep it straight and in play. But there's no way I'd ever go out and spend money on them. I just couldn't. This next one definitely took the internet kind of by storm this year, so there's a good chance you might have at least heard of this one in passing, but this is the Legato LTX 3085. So Gabe from Let's Play did a review on this. He really loves it a lot, and for good reason. I mean, for good reason. It's a really awesome performing golf ball. You can get them on Amazon for $29.99 a dozen, and that's for a 3-piece urethane golf ball. It has a really cool design to it. It has an awesome alignment aid on the side, and it just explodes off the club. Really great distance, and what I really liked about it the most was that it had really great backspin on the 50-yard pitch, one of the best. I mean, my average right now is like 7,500, you know, somewhere in there, which, you know, stops on the green pretty much on a dime. That's good. This was 8,400 average. So this golf ball spins a ton. There's a ton of checkup with it. It feels great off the putter. It does so many things right. And when you consider the fact that you can get it for 30 bucks a dozen on Amazon, you know, next day shipping, next day delivery, again, kind of a no-brainer, you know what I mean? Really takes a lot of the guesswork out. Now, some of you might have heard of Encore. You know, Encore's been around for a few years. You know, they have the Elixir. That's kind of how they got big, was their Elixir golf ball. Then they came out with the X1, the Vero X1, which Gary Player got in trouble for at the Masters. You might remember that. So that's kind of been an ordeal, but they released about a year ago, 2 years ago now, the Vero X2, and that ball just took me by storm. It's a 4-piece urethane golf ball. It's definitely more on the firmer side, but it has a softness to it. It has more of a bouncy ball effect to it. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then I kind of was like, no, I like this. I like this. Well, I hope the numbers are good. No, they're great. I mean, fantastic numbers. Really great performing. It ended up, I think, as number 11 on our top 100. It was in the top 15 for sure. And that's with having a bad value score, because it actually comes in at $40 a dozen, which isn't that great in the realm of value score when it comes to Golf Ball Addict. Like I said, we've had a lot of golf balls on this list that have been $20 a dozen and $30 a dozen, and you know, and so now having one at 40, it's not the cheapest golf ball, but boy, it's really, really good. Excellent durability. It just checks so many boxes, and again, took me by storm. I had no idea. I wasn't a big fan of the X1. The Elixir was good. It was good. So when this X2 comes out, I'm like, all right, let's see how it is. And then now it's one of my favorite golf balls to play. So bravo, Encore. This one was definitely a recent one. So I reviewed 2 golf balls by Odin, which is a company that for some reason has gained Ping, yes, that Ping, their trust and respect. So the Odin X, Don't care for it. One of the worst golf balls I've ever tested. The Odin X1, however, 3-piece urethane golf ball, really, really good. Now, again, value score-wise, $37.99 a dozen, not the best, especially for a company that is going to be difficult for a lot of people to wrap their head around if you've never heard of it. But it had a really fantastic performance. It gripped the green really well. Everything across the board was pretty consistent. Everything was above average. Really explosive ball speed. I love to see it. And then also, the fact that Ping is willing to put their name on it, and, you know, I mean, like, if you go buy their balls, it says trusted by Ping. I guess Ping uses these golf balls when they're testing golf clubs and stuff. That means something. You know what I mean? Like, Ping is a really respectable company, and if they're willing to put their mark of approval on it, that's got to count for something. So, really good golf ball. I did enjoy playing with it. Just got to improve that logo, though, man. That logo is, everyone agreed that logo, and actually I had multiple people on the channel tell me they wouldn't buy the ball because the logo is just so obnoxious. So fix that a little bit, make it a little more modern, make it a little more sexy. You got this. And then it might even be higher on the list. Recently, I was sent 2 different golf balls by the Trust company, which Trust you might have heard of. They've been around for a long time, kind of a big Amazon company. But they actually came out with their new models of the Trust Bison series. Now, the Trust Bison X, Power X, excuse me, I guess the proper name. It's for fast swingers. I didn't care for it that much. It was just a little too firm for me, and that's how it goes. I mean, nothing against the golf ball, but it's not for me. If you're a faster swinger, you can check that one out. But the Bison Power V, however, had a really unique, cool design. I love the alignment tool on it. Everything was either right in line with average or above average. It has a unique look to it in the regard that it has like almost like this glitter all over it, so it's really easy to see when the sun hits it. It's very easy to find your golf ball, so you can still get that white look, that classic kind of, you know, design of a golf ball, but it's going to show up in the sun for sure. It's very easy to find. So there's a lot of unique things about it. Again, value, $39.99. I wish they'd decrease the price a little bit. So it's not my favorite on this list by any means, but I wanted to give them a shout out because it is for some people, especially the X model. Hopefully they'll decrease the price back down to $35 soon, because if you get it back down to $35, I think it's legit. But the problem is at $39, that's the same as Vice golf balls, and I'm always going to recommend a Vice golf ball over Trust. I just am. And so you got to decrease that price a little. But everything else was pretty good. It was definitely a step forward. All right, next one up, one of my absolute favorites. I just continue to fall in love with it, and that is the Wright & Ditson golf ball. So Wright & Ditson, again, one day randomly someone DMs me on Instagram and says, hey, you should review this golf ball. It's a 4-piece urethane, $29.99 a dozen. I said, sure. Well, every golf ball deserves a chance. That's what we believe. So I get it in. Gosh, this thing's freaking awesome. So let's start with the design of the golf ball, right? It has this really old-timey, vintage 1930s look, which is really cool. They actually sell a vintage golf ball that you can go on there and buy that it looks like this, which is really cool too. But the regular golf ball, it just has a unique look, it has a unique feel, and you can also get the icons on the side here, and this is what really drew me in and has kept my heart for a while. I mean, look at some of these, like, you know, breakfast ball and dance floor, and, you know, there's a Sasquatch. Like, these are really cool. I love the monochromatic look. They're unique. People talk about them. They're conversation starters. But that's just the design. Now we're getting into the performance, which, holy cow. So, true story. When I did the full review of this golf ball, I actually was getting such great numbers with the launch monitor that I didn't believe it. I actually had to go out in my backyard and hit a full shot just to see if it was actually lying or telling the truth, because I didn't believe it. I mean, I gained like 10 yards, and so I was like, this can't be right. Hit a shot, flew over my fence, flew into the schoolyard next door, never saw the golf ball again. And ever since then, I've been using them, you know, periodically, and I love them. They are fantastic. They're unique. They're different. They explode off the club face. They grip the green great. They feel great off the putter. Be on the lookout for this to possibly be a top 10 golf ball. I mean, it performed that well. And again, a company that no one's heard of. You know, when I bring it out, people look at me sideways and they're like, "Right, what is that? A frying pan on the side? Like, what do you do?" And then they watch it go off the club and they go, "What was that? What was that name? What was that website again? Can you write that down for me?" Yes, I can. All right, and this is the last one, and this one really, probably my favorite of the year so far. And this is not even just a specific golf ball. This is a whole golf brand, and that is going to be Seed Golf. And, you know, you might have heard of Seed Golf. You know, they're an Ireland company. The thing with Seed Golf is a lot of people still haven't heard of them, and that's because they are direct to consumer and they are Ireland, so USA market just isn't there yet. You may have heard of them. If you're definitely overseas and you're watching this, you probably have, and I apologize. But I wanted to showcase them still because every time I test one of their golf balls, I just get a little more impressed with them. Because the thing with Seed is they have a unique design, they have a unique look, they have alignment aids you can buy, they have matte colors, they have whatever golfer you are, they are trying to fit that, and that's really cool. Then you get into performance, and these guys really care a lot about what they're doing. You can tell by looking at the testing they do, at the engineers they bring on, at the language they use. They give a darn about all of this. They want this to be the best golf ball. They want this to be the best company. And even when you have a pipe dream, and I'm not saying it's a pipe dream, I'm just saying that sometimes even if you have a pipe dream, you can shoot to be number 1. And if you end up at number 3 out of 180, that's still amazing. And so that's what I respect about it the most is, what, they might not end up as number 1, but you know what? I think they're going to be really successful because what they're doing, I believe in. What they're doing, they believe in. And it's awesome. Now, what does that correspond? What does that mean? Well, it means that every golf ball they have and every golf ball I've tested has just been the most consistent, the most accurate. Does it break records? No, it doesn't break ball speed records. It doesn't break distance records. But they all spin great. They all have great distance. They all have consistency. They all have forgiveness. They all have accuracy. They just keep it in play. They're easy to hit. They're easy to hit. They're easy to go low. They shave strokes off your game. Every time I play with one, I just think, this is lovely. You know what I mean? Like, I love this. It's so great. This is the type of golf ball, a lot of these might be gimmicks. A lot of these might be, if you really like James Bond, or, if you really like this, or if you, some of it's like that. This is a company that I think if most of you just said, okay, I'm going to try them, and you got a sample pack or whatever, I think most of you would stick with them. I think most of you would play the golf ball and go, oh yeah, no, this is awesome. Like, I would gladly stick with this. And then you could stick with it and lower your scores. I truly believe that. So, Seed, phenomenal. Guys, these are 12 or 13, I can't remember, golf balls that hopefully you hadn't heard of. I hope I taught you something here. I hope you learned something. The reality is, if you like this kind of stuff, please join the channel. We're glad to have you. This channel is all about testing every golf ball for the average golfer, finding out who golf balls are for. Are they for fast swingers? Are they for slow swingers? And really what we're trying to do here is just break a lot of these norms. So many people in the golf ball industry are just, I don't want to call anyone out specifically, but if you read publications, you'll see it. They say things like, oh, everyone should be playing an X model golf ball. If you're a robot, you should. Because if you can hit the center of the face every single time, just perfect, and you have a perfect swing and a perfect descent angle every single time, then yeah, absolutely. You'll get an extra 2 or 3 yards with your driver, and you'll get a little more spin maybe. But what if you don't do that? What if you're not a robot? You need forgiveness. You need forgiveness in a golf ball. If I mishit it a little, do I still get close to the same amount of distance, or do I lose 30, 40 yards? We have a lot of great data. We do really in-depth reviews on this. Season 5 is coming up next year. We're going to start doing, I just bought a camera. I'm really excited. We're getting ready to do all kinds of vlogs, comparisons on course testing, challenges. I've got so many great challenges cooked up. So stick around, subscribe. It's going to be a good time, guys. As always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time, see you soon.